Australia, the wide brown land. For close to 2 centuries, our economy rode on the sheep's back. But things have changed. Today, over 3 million Australians live below the poverty line. And for those still trying to make a living in the country, the struggle's never been so real. In this series, we'll meet those who depend on the land.
Water is the lifeblood of our farm.
Battling a drought that could become the worst in 400 years.
The last 2 years have been the most difficult.
A very frightening time because you just don't know when droughts are going to end.
And it's not just the farmers. Some regional towns are doing it tough too.
I worry about my children's safety every day, every single day.
We're going to get rocks thrown at us. There we go.
Feeling abandoned.
My house is trashed, mate.
I've got knives, I've got bloody iron bars and everything in my place.
Some country Australians have had enough.
The ball went in the fucking window after it hit the mirror. Who the fuck are you, mate? Fuck off.
Cars have been stolen and they dump them on our oval and they burn them.
Like there was flames.
With emergency services stretched,
it's the worst suburb that I've ever lived in.
limited access to health services,
He's had seizures, bone disease, got kidney disease.
and some struggling to even put a roof over their head.
There's plenty of people breaking the laws. Why are they picking on me for?
Are rural Australians fed up
I don't think city people really understand what we're going through at all.
and ready to leave?
I don't think there's a future here.
Country's gone mad.
Living on the land as a farmer in Australia means dealing with drought and managing water.
We are farmers. We are trying to take care of animals, and believe it or not, we actually use water to actually grow food, so we can actually pass that food on. We're actually not here just to waste it.
Dams hold the rain, and bores pump water from underground.
We've got irrigation water. All our dams are right for water. I've always had plenty of fodder put away.
But some farms haven't seen a decent drop of rain in years, which is why so many farmers have had to walk away.
It just seems to be that we're not getting as much rainfall. It's just making it harder every year.
In Deniliquin, in the southwest Riverina, struggling dairy farmers Barry and Rosie haven't seen rain in months.
Hi, Daddy. Hi, Daddy.
Their tanks are almost dry, and that's meant relying on the bore for most of their water. But the bore has stopped working.
So it's basically nearly dried up after only a few days.
With no rain on the horizon and no water coming from the bore, Barry reckons the farm will be bone dry in around 2 weeks.
Yeah, look, like the bore was just critical to our, for us being able to survive.
We've got no water to water the paddocks. We've got knots in the stomach.
Yeah, if it was a normal season where we had channel water and rain, it wouldn't mean a lot. You'd just have time to put a new one in. But yeah, in a season like this, when that's all we've got, it's an absolute major problem.
No bore means no grass. When cows don't eat, they don't produce milk. So Barry decides to feed and milk only half the herd.
All right, we better get going. Where are you going to get those naughty cows? Let's go, gals, come on.
The other half of the herd is moved to the back paddock and won't be milked.
Looks like one animal's got too much milk. All right, we'll just both... Yeah, well, she could easily be, but... Yeah. And if she is, she goes out with the dries.
All right, so we're right to keep going?
Yep. This is a non-irrigation paddock, so there's not an awful lot of feed. Yeah, we've got a hole dug where I thought it looked like there would be a bit of groundwater, and that groundwater is really getting lower and lower at the moment. We'll just have to keep on drying cattle off until we can get down to a number of cattle that we can probably afford to keep. But if there's no decent rain forecast, there's every chance we'll completely stop milking and selling cattle.
"30 minutes south of Wagga is the town The Rock. The Rock takes its name from the 350-metre mountain that looks over the town. It's a small farming community, as well as a hub for grain transport. And it's home to born and bred local 45-year-old Rodney.
This is the, what do we call it?
The oasis in the middle of the
This is the oasis in the middle of the rock. And her name's Penny.
Rodney's home is a caravan parked on a mate's property 30 minutes walk out of town.
No toilet, no electricity, no way to keep clean. Over there is a dam, but it's all dry. There's a water trough over there where I collect my water from. That's my caravan that I live in, my friend's caravan that I live in. It's a bit rough, but I manage.
Rodney lives with mental health issues, and he's struggled to find proper housing. The paddock's been his home for the past 5 years.
This is where I sit in the heat of the day, at my little table and my chairs, and I might have a sleep on the mattress if it gets too hot or whatever, if I get tired or whatever. This is it.
During summer, the temperature in the daytime can push towards 50 degrees.
Well, I didn't go back into the caravan till 10:30 last night, put it that way, and it was still 35, 34 degrees in there. I haven't got an aircon. Wish I did. We'll go for a walk and I'll get some water, and I'll show you where I have a wash every morning.
Rodney didn't have an easy upbringing, and having somewhere to call home has been a battle for decades.
This is where I get my water from. Sometimes I whack Penny in here if it's cold enough.
In his late 20s, he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia.
I turn the water on over here.
Then 8 years ago, his mother passed away, and Rodney hit rock bottom. After the funeral, Rodney's relationship with his family went downhill.
Wash the sleep out of my eyes and, have a good wash.
Rodney worked as a concreter, brickie and labourer. But on a job, he slipped a disc in his back.
I've got to get a bigger drum, but it's a little bit difficult carrying a big drum back over there.
Still wanting to make a living, Rodney works as a part-time gardener. But his main source of income is the disability pension.
Payday today. Come on, go. So I've got to go down the street and do a little bit of grocery shopping. It's about a 2K walk. So there you go. Down to the shops and then back, so it's about maybe a 3 or 4K trip. This is the garden that I made. I got some old bricks and put in a cactus garden and a few grasses at the front. These ones flowered. Check out the big flower, a cactus flower, but he died on me. But not a bad little garden. I thought I'd done all right.
Rodney makes the trek into town most days.
How you going, Emma?
Today is payday, so his bank balance is up and so is his mood.
So, I got a 2 litre of milk. I got me girls and my dog. They're only $1 a thing. And I got some bananas to have a banana sandwich. Nice loaf of bread, cheap bread, and some milk. Riverina fresh milk. Yeah, look at that.
With no fridge, there's another item he carries back most days.
All right, got me ice. Time to start walking.
2 5-kilo bags, 40+ degree heat, and a half-hour walk.
Well, I've only got one bag left by the time I get there. Yeah, especially in heat like this, you know. Come on, girl. You coming? Are you coming, girl? Come on. Come on. Come on, girl. It's $5 a bag. It's $5 a bag, so I'm spending about between 30 and 50 bucks every week on just on bags of ice, you know. Quarter of the way home yet, and it's already melting. Yep. Sometimes I think, why the bloody hell do I do this? Oh, shit. I just got to keep doing it to survive. That's all I got. No one will help me. Come on, girl. Come on. Come on. Oh, well. Home sweet home. Sugar. Wait a minute, girl. I'm going to put some ice in that for you.
As well as keeping food cool,
This is me fridge.
the ice has another purpose.
I'll tip one of those bucket things of water over myself in a minute. After I take my shoes and that off and put my thongs on, then I'll just sit here for the rest of the day and get drunk.
Apart from dealing with mental health problems, Rodney struggled with alcohol use for most of his adult life.
Last week I went 4 days without a drink, but then it comes to the crunch and I just got to have a drink. So I just come up here and drink.
Rodney blames his battle with the bottle on his mental health.
I was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia in 2003, and things haven't been the same since. I'm not a people person. I'm paranoid 24/7 of everything. That's a lot to do with why I drink.
People with severe mental illness die up to 20 years earlier than those without, and have a higher rate of alcohol use disorders.
I'm sane again.
With the help of his doctor, Rodney's managing his mental health as best he can. But he's desperate to quit the drink.
I can change. I know I can change. I can feel it in my blood that I can change. I know that. And if I don't, I'm going to end up dead. So I'd rather change and get off the grog and look after this little girl here. This is what I got to live for. My little girl. And I've been lonely for a long time. For a very long time.
In Tolland, South Wagga, it's been 3 months since Catherine and Mason's house was ransacked.
There's jewellery boxes up like the hallway and like smashed up phones and stuff. I don't want to be here. I'm not staying. Couldn't give a shit about the place now.
Just waiting for him.
Despite being on the job hunt and the money tight, Catherine's opened her doors and made the house a safe haven for others struggling in the area.
We might even just paint the walls and do it up a bit.
17-year-old Jenna spent much of her pregnancy here.
I love Catherine. She's an angel. She's a gem.
But with a new baby, she's ready to move on and make a life of her own. And now Carly is coming to terms with becoming a mum at just 19.
Well, it still hasn't clicked in my head that this kid is actually my kid. And what I say goes. But it will one day, I think.
Carly Kalia's son came into the world 16 days ago. For Mum, it's been a steep learning curve.
No. Oh, no.
So I
no.
can help. You sit there with him and you hold him. Come help you.
Can you hold him for a second, please? I gotta go get another outfit.
You don't have to keep changing him. He's alright. He's just had a spew.
Life with a newborn isn't easy, but Catherine's been able to give Kalia the help and support a single mum needs.
See your hand underneath there. It'll help you and it'll help him. There you go.
Why does that noise? It's okay. I know I don't like holding you like this either. You don't like it. I don't like it. Apparently this is how you do it, but...
Kalia suffered serious complications during labour.
It was okay at the start, and then his heartbeat was dropping. Cute.
She needed an emergency C-section.
Like, it was the most scariest thing, and then she kept looking at me going, he's gonna die, isn't he? And I was like, they're like, you know, they were trying to reassure her that there's no way they're gonna let it happen. It was like, honestly, like it was scary, but like, and it really is, because you know that like bad things do happen, you know, and stuff. But once they got her there, like, I don't know, I just kept telling, you got to sort of stay positive.
Kept having dreams that I died. I held him, I told him I loved him, and then I just died.
Home from the hospital, Kalia and her baby boy are now living with Catherine full-time.
Oh, the sun is bright. Who's here?
Who's here?
Mason!
When I'm here, they hand him to me.
Raising a son as a single parent in a share house won't be easy.
Mum.
Yeah, hold on.
We need to do a nappy change.
Fuck my life.
Smell it. Oh, it's okay. Whoa, you gotta be careful.
Having had problems with the drug ice, as well as unstable periods in her own childhood,
You're a very dangerous driver.
Kalia wants things to be very different for her little boy.
Here.
I hope he succeeds in life and does the best that he freaking can. I hope he does better than anyone else in our family.
Get my burger.
My son's more important than a crack pipe. He got magic fingers.
1 in 3 single-parent families in Australia live below the poverty line.
Well, look at him, he's perfect.
Living in Catherine's house means Kalia doesn't worry about a roof over her head.
Catherine only wants to do what's right by me and help me do what's right by my baby.
He looks pretty settled now. He was having a good old wind too before. He's going back to sleep.
I've got a safe home, except for bastards that want to rob me. You know what I mean? Like, I do struggle at night sleeping because of it.
What do you want for tea?
Ackers.
Ackers?
Yeah.
What's Ackers?
Burger.
You want a burger?
Yeah. Maccas. Macca.
But it is safe. That's just me feeling a little bit uncomfortable because my home was invaded. I want to protect them and look after them, but I also want them to be able to look after themselves.
In Denny, it's a few days since Barry and Rosie decided to cut back milking, and they're still waiting for rain.
We're hoping, we hope thunder. We got nothing. Our story at the moment, nothing.
The boar is down, and they're milking only half the herd once a day.
Normally you'd be up getting the cows right now and getting everything ready, and you've had dinner and you've done everything, and you get back into the into the motor of it all and you're like, oh, what do I do with myself? Okay, you go find something to do.
Yes, no, they still used to be being milked twice a day, and there's nothing really much for them to eat, so we have been letting them into sort of different paddocks around, but there's nothing left now for them to eat at all.
Are you going to be all right, Lincoln?
Without an evening milking routine, filling in time is unusual for Rosie.
I feel like I've been fired. I said to Barry, I said, I don't know what to do with myself. He goes, you've got 2 kids to rear. I said, I know, but I usually do that and milk. I don't know how people do nothing. I don't know.
The stress of this drought has cut deep. Farmers are 8 times more likely to suffer mental health issues during drought compared to periods of high rainfall.
Probably a little bit lost, a little bit uncertain. Probably concerned about Barry's mental health more than I am my own. I'm just, as a parent and as a mother and as a wife, you tend to think of everyone else before you think about yourself too much. Because you just don't know what's going on inside other people's heads and what they're thinking and how they're coping, or if they're coping or not. And Barry's not one to express himself hugely about it. But I know he's not sleeping from it. I think he needs someone to blame or something to blame, and you can't control the weather.
If there's no rain, the next step is to sell the cows in the back paddock to the abattoir.
You wonder if it's, how much longer you can keep going for. If it doesn't rain, it's just hard to imagine how, if we've made the right decision in trying to keep going.
It will rain, and farmers don't give up. I guess you just keep moving on like that.
"230 k's away in the Rock, it's over 40 degrees. But despite the heat, Rodney is preparing to take a long walk. Today is a special day.
Well, I'm having a couple of drinks and it's Valentine's Day, and I'm going to take a red rose up to my mum and put it on her grave. I know my mum likes red roses, and I seen them in the shop this morning, so I bought her one. I know she's not my Valentine, but I haven't got a wife, obviously. This is my wife, just right here.
Rodney had a close relationship with his mum.
Oh, Penny, you rolled in the dirt already?
Since her passing 8 years ago, he visits her grave frequently.
Mum never says anything back to me, but I go and have a yak to her all the time, yeah. If I'm a bit sad at 1 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll come for a walk over and sit on my mum's grave for half an hour or however long, have a yak, and then have a couple of smokes or a drink. I don't mind drinking early. And then I walk home. Mum's up this way. This is my mum, right here. Faye, her name is. And now I bought her up a red rose to plant. Stick it in here, look. Up the middle, red and silver. Look at that. Old girl, look at that. And hopefully in a couple of days, it'll open up for you. Rightio. Hey. I really miss my mum. My mum would ask me to do something for her and I'd say I'd do anything, and she'd come and pick me up if I was in trouble. She'd come and pick me up from wherever I was. Yeah. None of my family have anything to do with me now that my mum's gone. Bugger all, anyway. I'm the ugly duckling of the family, you know. I'm the ugly duckling of the family. And I've been left out here on my own with nothing. And I'm alone. Relieves a lot of pressure coming up here and having a bit of a yak and letting things out. I know she can't hear me, but it helps a little bit, yep.
Since his mum's passing, his dog Penny and his drinking have filled the void.
This little girl loves me to death, she does. And I woke up at 4:30 this morning and guess who was laying beside me giving me a couple of kisses? This little girl here. Yep.
As well as drought, isolation can make living in the country hard. Health services taken for granted in the city can mean travelling long distances for country people. 41-year-old Peter lives an hour from Wagga in the village of Nangus.
Come on. Come on. Chok, 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 chok. Chok.
Peter is mum to 4-year-old twins, Bree and Cody.
Some weight, that's it. Good boy. That's okay. Your hands are sticky. It's okay.
Raising twins is hard enough, but it's made more difficult by Cody's condition.
Very gently. Good boy.
Cody has a kidney disease called Dent's disease 1.
What's over there? There's a pig over there.
He's losing a lot of calcium through his urine, and in turn the calcium's building up on his kidneys.
That's where the horse hay is.
Eventually his kidneys will fail and he will need a kidney transplant.
Let's go find the sheep.
As well as regular doctor's visits, Cody takes medication for his kidneys.
It's just keeping him on the medication and trying to keep his calcium down.
But it's not just his kidneys. Cody is also behind in the development of his movement, speech and growth.
At the moment, they were thinking of putting Cody on growth hormones because he's not growing.
Sheep! Where are they?
From day one, Cody's illnesses have required specialist care.
Cody has been ill literally since the day he was born. Cody was quite flat when he was born, so they revived him, and he was put straight on ward. He actually turned out to have sepsis.
Sepsis is a life-threatening condition where the body attacks organs when fighting infection.
He was in special care for 2 weeks on 4 lots of antibiotics, and they got to a point where they didn't think they were going to be able to treat Cody. Ever since the day he was born, it's been doctors, specialists. It hasn't stopped. It's been a massive, long 5 years of getting him to the point he's at. Didn't think he'd walk at one stage, didn't think he'd talk.
The twins' father and Peter's partner is 47-year-old Ricky.
Good man. Back. Mind you, sitting right there. Let him go now back with Mum?
Ricky works in freight and construction. He regularly takes extra shifts to help pay for Cody's treatment.
Well, I drive trucks, and if anyone knows, you do 5,000 k's a week. Put in there. Thank you. When we get over there, you can feed the horse. Good boy. You go down, Dad.
Ricky travels wherever the work is,
Daddy.
but they still struggle to pay the bills.
We go to the doctors, and every specialist visit's around the $300, and there's no bulk bill. So when we go up to Sydney, if we see 3 or 4 specialists, it's $1,200. I can't even afford to live here. I come home and I've got to try and share my time with Cody. And what's the matter, mate? I said to Peter that I can't have the time to sit down and have a conversation with her. She gets upset, but I'm just, like I said, I'm exhausted.
Cody's condition is very rare.
Hang on.
Several specialists work together to treat him.
That's better. So we have neurology, endocrinology, his urologist, his immunologist, ENT, his nephrologist, which is his kidney specialist, his paediatrician. These are all the tests Cody has to get done within the next 3 weeks.
Ricky spends his time on the road earning money. Peter spends her time on the road caring for Cody.
We're 5 days a week to Wagga for all his services, and in between we're fitting in all the specialist visits. Belts on properly. No.
50 minutes each way to Wagga, 5 days a week for scheduled treatments. The 2 or 3 trips a month to specialists are even further.
There's no help in Wagga when it comes to your specialists. You have to travel to Sydney, Melbourne or Canberra. Sydney, that's at least 4 to 4.5 hours drive there, and then same home. Canberra, 2 hours. Melbourne, if we need to be, 6 hours. I feel that we live in the car half the time.
Peter has been juggling appointments for 5 years. Dealing with a sick child is heartbreaking. But dealing with a sick child and a life on the road is exhausting.
No, you've got to cope. You've got to. You're a parent. You've got to do it. If you don't do it, what are they going to have?
In Australia, 1 person dies every 90 minutes from alcohol-related disease. But for some, fighting the urge for the next drink is a daily battle. In The Rock, 45-year-old Rodney is doing his best to keep the cravings at bay.
Stayed off the grog all day. Pretty well all day. I had a little bottle of brandy for breakfast at 7:30, and I stayed off the grog all day.
His addiction has made him lose over 15 kilos over the past few years.
I'm a skeleton to what I was at the moment.
His doctors have told him if he doesn't eat, malnutrition will lead to organ failure.
Oh dear, oh dear. All right, I've got some good stuff in here. Oh my goodness, the chips. I haven't eaten for 3 days before this. I just don't get hungry. I'm forcing myself to eat. I'm hungry now, but I'll cook a feed, and when I'm drunk, I'll drinking heavily and lose my appetite, and she'll end up eating it. I'll just lose my appetite. I'll get 2 mouthfuls in and I'm full. But I haven't drank all day, and I know I'm gonna eat most of that. Yeah, it might take me a little while, but I will. Veggies, especially. A few carrots, half a carrot, nice spuds.
I'm a binge drinker. I can binge for 3 or 4 days and then go without it for 3 or 4 days, you know.
Praise Jesus, hallelujah, Lord. Thank you for this food, Lord. Please bless this food, Lord. Please look after all the hungry mouths in the world, Lord. Please look after Penny and I tonight. Amen. Eat the best bit first. Fucking flies.
But it's not just drinking that's affecting Rodney's health.
Coughing up blood. Oh, I was coughing it up. After having a light and a smoke and coughing. And all that would be just blood and spit.
Rodney has been diagnosed with emphysema.
Well, this is only my 4th smoke all day. No. 3rd. 3rd smoke all day. But I had a couple of cones this morning, see? And if I have a bit of pot in the morning, I can go all day without a cigarette.
His next test will determine how bad his condition is.
And in 2 weeks I go in for, they're going to put the cameras down my throat and have a look and take a sample of my lungs.
If the results aren't good, his quality of life could suffer further.
All the doctor said was, fingers crossed, 2 weeks' time.
In Deniliquin, there's only a few days before some of the herd will be sold to the abattoir.
Good morning.
And Barry's also worried about the future for his kids, Lincoln and Annabella.
Thanks. You know, Lincoln's probably never ever known things to be good really on the farm. So yeah, he's probably starting to think, well, you know, something has to be a bit easier. Yeah, he's definitely said recently about moving to town as being an option. But yeah, I could never live in town. Never, yeah, it's just, yeah, I'd have to have a little bit of land around me.
Tomorrow is the Deniliquin show. Barry wants to pass on to his son the tradition of showing prize cows.
Back 40 years ago when I was growing up, used to take big teams of cows once upon a time. Like, you could go to a show and win enough prize money to cover your costs normally of going, the transport. But yeah, nowadays everything's just gone up so much that yeah, no, often you don't even cover your entry fees.
With money tight and the farm on its last legs, it could be the first and last time Lincoln gets to carry on the tradition.
Yeah, so if we get 2 animals there in the back of the ute, it's not going to cost us much money at all.
Across the country, agricultural shows showcase the best of Australia's produce. In Barry's heyday, he took 49 cows to one show. Now, during the drought, he's brought just 2. Thelma, who'll be led for the judges by Barry, and Olive, led by Lincoln.
So bring it around this side. You should always go in with a cow on the same side as your leader.
Barry goes first, and with only one other cow in the category,
well, then I'll get pushed into you.
He's hoping for a top 2 finish.
I'm guaranteed a second, I reckon.
Is there only 2 on this farm?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and come around. Just line her up. Yeah.
Now you're going too close, girl. Hey, hey, hey. Well, I got where I thought I would have. Was second.
Congratulations to our champ and reserve champ. Well done to all our exhibitors.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
All right, let's go.
Having seen how it's done, it's Lincoln and Olive's big moment.
All right, you get a bit closer, and you lead, and I'll walk in behind a bit, all right? No, we had to go that way, Lincoln. Remember who's boss? She just told us to just all get in line, all right? And remember, you have to keep on watching the judge, because she's boss. I was telling him today how, you know, I showed cows with my dad and Mum, and you know, Mum used to show cows with her dad, and so yeah, we've been doing it with our parents for a long time. Now lift her head up.
You guys are doing a very good job.
Oh, today's a bit of pride, actually. Today's a bit of pride watching Lincoln. I was just pleased to get here in time to watch him do it. I thought I was running a bit late.
Yeah, you just keep pulling her and I'll keep it going.
Really proud of Lincoln for doing that. Having a go. Just having a go. And that's all you have to do.
Lincoln and Olive come a respectable fourth.
Let's go. Oh, I was very happy with him. Well, what I was happy to see was the big smile he had on his face when he got the ribbon.
But doing one better next year might not be on the cards.
All right, so next year, if we're still here, we might show Olive again. Then hopefully she'll know how to lead, won't she?
So, I don't really know.
All right, you want Daddy to get... I'll take her now and you get in behind her.
The future of Barry and Rosie's dairy farming legacy hangs by a thread.
We'll keep going today and we'll see what tomorrow holds, and then all of a sudden, that's it, today's it. We're not doing it anymore.
This could easily be the last show we potentially ever go to with our own animals.
You win.
I'm pretty sure I'm the last of my line.
Northeast of Wagga in Nangus, Cody has yet another medical appointment.
Can get quite confusing sometimes when we have all those appointments with Cody and all the doctors and the specialists. Yeah, that's right. Where's your shoes? You got to get ready to go. Where are your shoes?
The constant travel weighs heavily on Peter.
Go put your shoes on.
But the isolation also protects Cody from common colds.
Drink bottle. No. They've discovered that he's got a gene. It's called the RANBP2 gene. Come on, Cody, quick. It's all right, I'll pick it up. Putting him at high risk of infection. You know, any kind of illness or infection that goes around, Cody's really susceptible to pick it up. Sit down, Bob. Make sure you keep your belts on, yeah?
Even a simple cold could land Cody in hospital.
So today we're off to Wagga for Cody's appointment with physio. So the physio can teach me some new exercises to help Cody be able to clear his chest a little bit better. He struggles, he gets a lot of phlegm and junk on his chest and he can't get it up. So they teach me the same exercises that they would treat with someone with cystic fibrosis. Have a look at the cows and the sheep. See them over this hill in a minute.
Cow!
Oh, yeah, up on the hill.
I said up the hill!
Yeah.
No, I went up the hill. True.
By being able to treat Cody herself at home, less time will be spent on the road.
It's tiring. It's really tiring. Financially, it's hard as well, but physical, yeah, that's pretty hard, and trying to keep the kids occupied on long trips is not easy. We do stop quite a bit, having a few breaks along the way. Yes, mate.
Today, Cody, with the help of his sister Bree, will undergo treatment designed as play to help clear his lungs.
Are you ready to go and play? What are we going to play? 2 puzzles? Oh, we're going to go up into the big room.
Yeah, we'll go to the big room.
You ready to go?
Yeah.
Just a 1-hour session will help teach Peter techniques to prevent Cody suffering even more.
This is where we get to play today. You go through. Go, 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 all the way to the end. Bree, you can follow Cody. Good boy. Woohoo! Keep going. Anything that's going to get him doing those long, deep breaths out is what's going to help keep it open. Good boy. going. And you want to try and make it so that it's a long breath out, so as long as you can. But this is, yeah, keeping them open. Big deep breath.
It's very tiring, but you know, he's making improvements in a lot of areas, so you know, when you see that, you know it's worth it and you're on the right track.
Big one, ready? Good boy.
And Eden's just going to show me how to rub your back.
So it'll probably, I'm just going to pat your back, okay? See how you can make that.
Yeah.
And you just want to work it all the way around. Avoid like his, so this bone back here is.
Yeah.
You can do it for a couple of minutes, however long he can tolerate. Stop, let him cough it up, let him get it out, and then you can keep going until you feel like he's got some of the stuff out. It'll work instantly.
Okay.
You gonna take him to the car now?
Let's go. So bye, Eden.
Bye, Cody.
What about him?
I mean, as a parent in general, I mean, life's hard. You know, it's never, you know, all roses, but when you've got a child who's ill and a child with special needs, it amplifies everything. And I'll never give up. I'll always fight the fight for Codes, and you know, we'll do whatever it takes to get him where he needs to be, but it's a long road and it's a hard road.
Rain clouds have been hovering around Deniliquin for weeks. But still there's no rain.
Yeah, the weather channel's got us down to 5 to 10 mils, so if we were to get somewhere over 10 mils on the paddocks that, you know, have now had water for a full month, it would just, it would keep them alive, but there's every chance we won't get it.
For some of the herd, time has finally run out.
Today just feels like one of those days, I guess you're coming to the end and it's just like, oh, I'm feeling it.
Barry has made the tough decision to stop milking altogether and to start selling off the herd.
I suppose it's the last day of milking. Oh, well, it's things just haven't been good for quite some time. We've got a group up there to sell today. We'll load it up and say goodbye to them.
Back when Barry ran his first herd as a young man, there were 22,000 dairy farms in Australia. Today, there are fewer than 6,000, and the number continues to fall.
This week there's 3 clearing sales in the area. This is a family in Kahuna, and they're going to relinquish dairying during the next couple of months. Our autumn calvers are sold, so they'll all be gone in April. We'll wind down our fodder resources and all the water we had. Their dairy business turned over 1.5 million, 90% of which went back into the local community and surrounds. That figure will pretty much be nothing now.
To Barry and Rosie, the sound of the stock truck arriving means they could be next to go.
Well, I'm getting to the stage where I just know it's the right thing to do. You know, the figures don't add up to be a dairy farmer anymore. Ha! Ha! Right, so we want this one, Rosie. You know, in drought years, you know, something has to change. Come on, girls, let's go. Ha! Ha!
30 years of dairy breeding kicked up the dust in the yards as the cows make their way onto the back of the B-double trucks.
These are the ones I read. When she's crying, she knows.
could only watch the trucks late last week drive away from their farm, taking them decades of hard work. And then the roar of the engine, the swirl of the dust, another load drove out. Our cows had just gone into the four winds and disappeared. It's a bittersweet moment in the couple which have lost faith in the system. They're grateful to have the options, and they came to nightfall and have a roof over their heads and food on the table. But the decision to sell their cows still hurt. I had sleepless nights last night, she said. It feels like everything we have done for the last 30 years has been ripped away from under us.
Next time on Struggle Street. In a town of 160 people, living with a major disability makes every day a challenge.
When I was 10, I had an allergic reaction and it caused me to have a stroke.
I have to fight the washing with my teeth.
Cody's condition breaks Ricky.
Oh, it's just a ticking nightmare for me and Peter. Go crazy to stay sane in this world.
Can Rodney beat the bottle for good?
But it's about time we got off this shit and started doing normal things.
If you are in need of assistance or support, contact Lifeline on 13 11 14 or the Salvos on 13 72 58.